Hello, my sewing friends. This is Vlogmas Day 7. I'm Jen, and this is my sewing room, where this week I worked on my collab with Becky from Go So Beautiful. Becky is a relatively new YouTuber, but she has a lot of great stuff to say about all kinds of sewing that she does. I will go ahead and link her collab video up here in the description box. She also did a collab for the same pattern. It is the Duet Trousers from Love Notions with Maven from Maven G Makes. Maven is also a relatively new YouTuber, so I will link both their channels as well as their collab video in the description box below. So check that out. I'm sure that they would love for you to be able to hear what they have to say about it. In fact, I think Maven had some really, really great things to say. And of course, so did Becky. So don't forget to stay till the end when we find out who won this little pin dish, magnetic pin dish with a little picture. Okay, here's my experience. I went ahead and sent the pattern off to PDF Plotting so I'd have a big thing that I could trace. Wonderful. I can't rave enough about that company. They are fantastic. Love Notions Duet Trousers come with instructions, which I just printed on 8.5 by 11 paper, but I did it in booklet form, so yeah, it makes it a little easier. They also include a fitting workbook, which I appreciated so much because we all know pants are notoriously difficult to fit. So yeah, I made a good use of this. I really appreciated that. I made 3 versions of these trousers. I wanted to make a muslin, then I wanted to make the trousers from a knit, and then I wanted to make a woven pair. These trousers you can make with a yoga waistband if you use a knit, or you can use just the regular waistband that includes a side zip. The way that you need to pay attention for sizing on these, the way I did, was to look at the high hip measurement and the wide hip measurement. And so I initially looked at those measurements, and they don't just give you those 2 measurements. They give you also the rise in the front, the rise in the back. So I did what they suggested and looked at the wide hip and the high hip. And gauging from that, I found that I should make a size 6. Well, that's not uncommon for me. I am much smaller on my bottom than I am on my top. And so, yeah, that seemed to work great. The only problem was I have a 2-inch difference between what they listed as the front rise on the size 6 and what I am. And all the other measurements were pretty close. I think my wide hip is 38, and for the 6, it's 37.5. So, you know, it's the kind of thing where they say size down if you're going to be between sizes. So I did. So the first pair I made were from this purple Ponte. This is a Ponte knit that I got at Joann Fabrics at a liquidation sale. So I have a lot of it. And so these were my muslin pair. I lengthened them by 2 inches. I did use the yoga waistband, and oddly, this yoga waistband is really small, at least I found. I had a hard time fitting this into the pants, and you can tell the pants even look gathered because this waistband, and I cut it to size from the pattern. So I'm not sure what was going on there, except that maybe people who wear a size 6 have teeny tiny little waists, and I do not. No. So one thing I discovered was that they came down really low in the front, and I didn't like that. It was like they were not coming up high enough. They were supposed to hit you right below your belly button, and mine were, you know, probably a good 1.5 inches below my belly button. And I thought, I don't know what's going on with that, but I am very short-waisted, so that could have been that. The waistband is too small, so I thought, okay, next time I need to cut this bigger. They're tight to get on, but they are comfortable to wear. And even at that, though, I think because this is just a muslin and I did not finish any of the seams on the inside for the waistband, I'm going to take this off and cut a new one because I have all that Ponte. The length was great. The pockets look good. They don't stretch too much. They're easy to get my hands in and out of. And so I liked that. And, you know, I put them on and oddly, they're a little bit loose. Now, you're supposed to have a little bit of negative ease going on with these pants if you make them in a knit. So I found that a little interesting. And I have to say, I've been wearing jeans for so long that a regular pair of pants looks funny on me when it comes to the crotch area. I'm used to a fly front and having them fit pretty close. And these fit more like, I don't know, dressier pants. I'm not used to that. So that's okay though. So a little bit looser fit, but a good try. And I thought, okay, well, one thing I thought was I probably should shorten the darts in the back because they came down kind of low. And I thought, that's not doing anything for my rear end. So anyway, these worked out okay. I mean, oddly, they're probably the best pair of the three that I made that I would wear all the time. I didn't even bother to hem them, but you know what? They're really nice pants. And I think for being comfortable and wearing them in a very casual way, they're great if I wanted to run errands, but they're also great for just lounging around the house. They're not quite yoga pants, but they're not wide leg pants either. They're just comfy. So I liked this pair in the end, even though they did come down kind of low. I think I can, I work with the waistband on that. So I'm going to do a new waistband. One thing I learned after I made those, and that is that most pants patterns are drafted for a woman with a smaller waist and a wider hip, because that's how most women are shaped, much more of a pear shape. And I am much more straight up and down. There's only 2 inches difference between my waistline and my hips. You know, if I were going to make, I don't know, something relatively fitted, I would have to enlarge the waist considerably because I've just, you know, I've got a whole lot more going on here that's not very much bigger than down here. So I learned that, and I was glad I did because I had suspected that for a long time, and I'm glad that that was kind of confirmed. I think that's one of the reasons I have so much problem when it comes to fitting pants. So let's talk about the second pair. Second pair, I thought, well, I've got this stretch denim. Let's try that. These are my second least favorite, but I thought they were going to be much better. And the reason is I have a pair of like Bermuda shorts. They hit me right at my knee and they fit like a dream, and they are ready-made. I think I found them at Sam's Club, something like that. And I took that crotch curve and I traced it off, and then I adapted the duet trousers pattern to be that same curve. And that meant taking a fair amount off of that curve and then tapering the side seams in quite a bit, and then just kind of gradually going out to the bottom. So I shortened the darts on this, and then I thought, well, you know what? I just didn't like the look of them because the first try on of them, I got them on, and they were so tight, I could hardly get them on. And I thought, oh, baby. Well, fortunately, I had just basted them all together, and I had a good 2 inches at least on either side. So I had taken 4 inches out of this high hip area, and I thought, all right, that's going back in. It didn't look right to me, but I went ahead and put it back in, and now they fit much better. They still are a little bit loose. I have no idea why that is. I went ahead and put the waistband on, and then I ran a line of thin elastic around the top, but this waistband, for one thing, it comes up way too high. Because I forgot to tell you, after I made the purple ones, I added about 1 inch to the very top of the front. So this seam right here, you know, you can tell, I mean, it was angling down. So I just kind of evened it out, and that helped. I did go ahead and top stitch this with thread, that like jeans thread, and I didn't do a true flat fell seam, but I did do, you know, I stitched it, I serged it, and then I turned it to one side and top stitched it. So it's kind of the lazy flat fell. And I also, on the inseam, I just stitched close to top stitched it close to the seam line. The pockets fit great on this. My problem is this waistband, you know, and I don't know, there's just something that doesn't feel right about them. But once I fix the waistband, I think I'm going to be in much better shape. Oddly, this one's too big, whereas that one's too small, the purple. So yeah, I thought, okay, this pair, they taught me that I don't trust patterns for fit. I don't trust them. I don't believe that out of the envelope, they're going to fit me. Okay, well, that's a valid thing to think, but I think they're going to deviate way too much, especially when it comes to pants. I think they're never going to fit me because I don't have that body, you know, based on the last thing I learned. So for the third pair, I thought, okay, all right, you know what? I'm going to go back and just do it true to the pattern, but I'm also going to look at the fitting changes that they suggest. And man, they have got a whole slew, a big long list of things that you can do to make these fit you. So I think this is an old curtain. I'm not sure. It's a twill. It's a cotton twill, has no stretch, none at all. And I got the remnant, I think at the scrap exchange when I was there. And they listed it as fabric, but I don't think it was because it was hemmed on the sides. And oddly, I think I cut it on the cross grain. I did not mean to do that, but it was a big square and it was all hemmed. And so there really wasn't any good way to tell. Yeah, I thought I cut it on the regular grain, but I guess not. Okay, so this time I really critically read those instructions. I mean, I read them word for word and thought, all right, I'm going to really not go off the rails on these. I'm going to follow these exactly as the pattern says. So in the fit workbook, it talks about doing a full belly adjustment. And I thought, you know what? I probably need to do that because of the way I'm shaped. I mean, I kind of, if you look at me from the side, I kind of go like this. So I thought, let's do that. So I did. On the front pattern, I put about a 1/2 inch full belly adjustment. Now, there's a 2-inch difference between my rise and what the size 6 rise is. So I was going to just add 2 inches, and I'm so glad I didn't because that would have been way too much. What I did was, on the pattern pieces, I marked where the seam line is, and then I laid that front waistband piece on top of this piece, the front pants pattern piece. And I measured this inseam for the rise, and it turned out that I only needed a 1/2 inch to get to what my rise is. So I thought, okay, good, let's do that. So I did that. I added 3 inches to the length. I added length to all of these because the inseam is 30 inches and I need about a 34. So I used those. I used a light cotton for the pocket facing, which I can show you right here is different because I ran out of fabric. But that worked fine. You know, you can use anything for that pocket facing because it's inside here. It doesn't show. So if you want to use something fun, that would be a good time to do it. The fit is okay. They're a little bit tight. How is it that these are tight and those are loose? I have no idea. But there's just something off about the front crotch. It's like I got too much fabric here. It's almost as if the back comes down a little too much and I need to take a little bit off of that to pull it back. Although I need to go back to that fit workbook and find out what's going on with these because they're just not right. The length is perfect. I thought these were going to be the best pair yet in terms of fit. But like I say, I do feel like they're a little bit small. So I could probably let them out a little bit in the back seam. I did take them up in the back. When I tried them on without the waistband, I took up the darts because I thought these are just not, I mean, this is way loose back here. So I pulled them in and I did add back in the length of the dart because I thought, okay, that's not really making that much of a difference. So this was okay. I did use the regular waistband and that was fine. They fit fine. They fit well. I mean, when I sit down, they're tight because this doesn't give at all. But at the same time, they fit well around the waist. They're perfect, I think, except for those two things. They're a little bit tight, and they, that crotch thing, it's just, oh, I don't know. I don't like it. So my conclusions. I like for my pants to fit me relatively closely, and these all do. My pants need to feel good on my body, and these and these do not feel good on my body. It's like there's something just off. This doesn't mean that they don't fit, and it doesn't reflect anything on the pattern. It just means that I need to make some adjustments. These all work, and they are all wearable, and I will wear them because I'll probably wear those purple ones the most, to be honest. And then I have some royal blue Pontian, so I may make another pair of those. This does offer a tapered leg option on the pattern, and they'd be really skinny if I had done that, because you can see how, close fitting they were for me. If I were to rate this pattern, I would give it about a 7 out of 10. And I do recommend it, I think, because most women are shaped, with a smaller waist and a wider hip. I think that will be perfect for these pants. I think if you just make them very much like the pattern says, you just go straight with the pattern, you're going to have really great success. You probably have a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, depending on the fabric you use. I would not recommend using a very stiff non-stretch woven unless you're doing something very light, like a crepe or, a lightweight cotton or rayon. I just think these don't have enough give in them. At least for me, going straight off the measurements in the envelope. And I think they do say you may want to size up if if you're working with a woven fabric that has no give. I kind of wish I had, but with the knit, you have the negative ease that's recommended. So, they're going to fit fairly closely. I can't get over the fact that those two knit pairs fit me as loosely as they do. It's like, what? Now, I know that Becky also said that that yoga waistband was a little bit small. And I added, on these, I forgot to tell you, the denim pair, you can tell, I added about, what is that? Probably 5 or 6 inches to this waistband. And it's too big. That was the kind of thing that you put it on, you based it on, and you try it on. And I didn't do that. I just put the waistband on. So I'm going to end up having to take that off. And okay, whatever. I'm, a champ when it comes to a seam ripper. So those are my thoughts on the duet trousers. And if you'd like to know anything else about my experience, you can ask me in the comments and I will try and address that there. Okay, let's find out who won this adorable little pin dish, magnetic pin dish, and the picture that goes with it. And that would be Pegi Weber. Congratulations. I just did the YouTube comment selector random thing, and Pegi is who came up. So Pegi, if you would email me, I'll leave a place for you to do that in a comment to you. And enjoy. Pegi mentioned in her comment that she had gone to Harbor Freight, and for less than $4, she got a metal little thing that's meant for mechanics to put screws in, or I guess even IT people could put screws in. And I also have one of those that I tried to paint and it did not work out well at all. So I just left it in the garage to use with screws and nails and nuts and that kind of thing. So Pegi knows what she's doing when it comes to magnetic pin dishes. And so Pegi, I really hope that you enjoy this. I just think it's adorable. So I am happy to pass that along to you. And my last thought to leave you with is that today is December 7th. And we all know that on December 7th, 1941, President Roosevelt said that this was a day that would live in infamy because that was the day that the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. I'm kind of wearing a Hawaiian-looking shirt to just take a moment and stop and think about all the lives that were lost that day and all the heroes that came out of that day too. It's just a little bit of history where, as an American, I think it's really important to just take a pause out of the day and just think, that was a terrible day, but we came back as a nation. So anyway, that's Vlogmas Day 7. And I'll be back tomorrow with even more. Don't forget to check out Becky's video. And if you would like to see all my videos for Vlogmas, all 6 of them, including this one, just check right over here. And I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching and Merry Christmas.